Hi everyone, Lynn Swanson here with givesmiles.us, a not-for-profit shelter project with a mission of helping dog lovers go well beyond loving their dogs, to really understand them. This video, Why Does My Dog Do That?, is the first of several videos in a series. If you find it helpful, please pay it forward and let others know about it. Thanks! Why does my dog do that? The best way to figure out why a dog does what he does in any given situation is to ask yourself 7 key questions. Has he been rewarded for doing it in the past? Could a negative association be a factor? Have you failed to show him better behavioral choices, so it's harder for him to consider them as options? Could he be following a routine that needs changing? Might he be looking for an outlet for his pent-up energy? Could the reason be instinctual? After all, he is a dog. Or could you be setting him up for failure without realizing it? People do this all the time, simply because they don't know that they're doing it. This presentation was put together to help to turn that around. Its goal isn't to help you solve all your issues. No video is going to do that. But it will help you to think about some things that you may not have considered, the better to put you and your dogs on the right track. If it sparks an awareness on your part and an interest in learning more about your dog's behavior, awesome. Throughout the video, you'll find some good references to help you at home with your dogs at your side. Let me expand upon these questions, one at a time. First, has your dog been rewarded for doing what he's doing with your touch, your voice, or your attention at any time in the past? In this case, know that if a dog gets rewarded for a behavior 1 time out of 20, heck, even 1 time out of 30, he will consider it an option given similar circumstances in the future. Herein lies the problem with one family member permitting or even encouraging a behavior when other family members prefer it not occur. If this is what goes on in your household, help is on the way. For now, just know that dogs have the best chance of thriving when their people follow 2 particular rules. I call them my golden rules. Golden rule number 1 is reward what you want. And by this I mean more than rewarding the behaviors you want. I also mean rewarding the states of mind that you want and the energy levels you want. Why is that? Because behaviors aren't conceived in a vacuum. Underlying every behavior is both an energy level and a state of mind. Does this mean you need to carry treats everywhere you go? Not at all. In some cases, that could even be counterproductive. My favorite way to reward my dogs for behaviors, states of mind, and energy levels I want to see, spontaneously and in the moment, is the offer of a sincere, relaxed, up to my eyes and from the heart smile. Dogs love genuine, relaxed smiles. You know, the kind that lights up your whole face. Smiles like this drop our blood pressure. You may not know that this has happened, but your dogs do. Offering smiles to others increases our endorphin levels too, something else that our dogs recognize. And smiles relax our muscles. They also encourage our dogs to focus on our faces in a relaxed manner, and not our hands in a more intense fashion. And they connect us as a team. Dogs love when their owners are happy, and they really do love to please. They also like being members of a cohesive team. What is also wonderful about smiles is that they're free and they are always with you. You're not going to find yourself saying, "Oh, darn, I left my smiles at home." Smiles can't be dropped by arthritic hands either, and they don't leave crumbs in your pockets. Smiles can be used with multiple dogs at the same time, and you don't even have to be looking at a dog for your smile to send its message. Back to my 2 golden rules. Can you guess what golden rule number 2 is? It can be a bit trickier for people to follow than golden rule number 1, but it is well worth practicing until you get it right. Golden rule number 2 is, stop rewarding what you don't want. And again, I'm not just talking about the behaviors that you're seeing. It's important not to reward problematic states of mind or elevated energy levels either, something that people often do, either because they confuse excitement with happiness, or they respond to troubled dogs the way they would a troubled child. An excited dog isn't necessarily a happy one. He's simply an excited dog. And excitement can lead to behaviors that you don't want to see. And dogs aren't small children. There are times they see our actions 180 degrees off from what we, with the best of intentions, intend. I address this in one of my other videos. Take a look at the green column. I'm pretty sure you'd agree that your dog sitting or standing quietly, coming promptly when he's called, letting you take the lead, and getting along with other dogs are all behaviors that you'd like to see. Similarly, you'd like your dog to be a relaxed individual, and a dog who is accepting of new people, new places, and new events. And it's nice to have a mellow dog when it's time to chill. It's nice to have a dog who has an off button. In the same way, you probably don't want your dog to jump all over the place, ignore your directions, make decisions when, honestly, he's not going to make the best of decisions, or tangle with other dogs. From your dog's perspective, it's not fun to feel concerned or insecure, or fearful, or reactive. And it's not fun to be a dog who is all revved up with no place to go. Know that how you respond to good behaviors and bad ones, positive states of mind or negative ones, lower energy levels or higher ones, makes all the difference in the world. Communicating what you want your dog to do in any given situation so you get the energy level, state of mind, and behavior you want and not what you don't want, requires good timing, a calmly directive attitude, something any good elementary school teacher possesses, and an awareness of how canine culture and communication differs a great deal from human culture and communication. These 3 topics are ones I could discuss for several days, and when it comes to them, you'll find our other videos and references to be helpful. Okay, back to our list of key questions. The second one is, could a negative association be a factor? By association, I mean the way your dog connects one thing to another in thought, either consciously or unconsciously. Is his association with X positive or negative? What does X do to his energy level? Does it calm him, or does it get him excited and perhaps not in a good way? And does you doing X induce him to do Y? If a dog expects something negative to happen because it has often occurred when something else occurs, it will take time and consistent repetitions of good things occurring instead for him to see things in a better light. Since dogs naturally enjoy moving, the better to move on to better moments, both physically and psychologically. My favorite way to turn negative associations with people, other animals, and strange objects into positive ones uses long side-by-side, airplane wing-oriented walks where no one walks in front of another. I've put together another video all about that, and I urge you to check it out. Walking dogs that don't know each other together in this manner gives everyone involved a common job, a common direction, and a common director, you. And it goes a long way toward building positive associations and correcting negative ones. It puts everybody on the same team, and dogs really do like being members of a good team. So check out the video, then try this approach with your dog and new dogs, your dog and new people, especially that tall bearded guy with the sunglasses that he always wants to bark at, if you want him to stop barking. And your dog and suspicious objects, such as skateboards and bicycles. You may not be ready to do this yet, since it takes a lot more awareness of what's going on between the ears of any species than most people possess, plus 4-legged participants willing to follow their person's lead. Note, you never want to do this with dogs that have high prey drive. But this is what I did to get both my dogs and my goats on the same team 10 years ago. And to this day, everyone goes along to get along just fine. From left to right, that is Jeffrey, Lenny, Hera, Little Pork Chop, Hiker, and Peppermint Patty walking side by side. The third question is an important one. Have you failed to teach your dog better behaviors so he's more apt to make the behavioral choices that you want? A funny, but actually quite common example is how many dogs decide to get social when their owners are sitting on a commode. Why shouldn't they do this? They have repeatedly been petted for it when a simple back up command would send them happily on their way. Dogs, most of whom really do aim to please, often repeat behaviors simply because they have never been shown different ones. This is where learning more about canine behavior and how our dogs view our own behavior can open up worlds for you. Situations that seem complex often have delightfully simple solutions, rooted in common sense. Question number 4 is, could your dog be following a routine that needs changing? For better or worse, and whether you know it or not, you train your dogs every day. They watch what you do and when you do it. They notice the quality and quantity of the energy you project. They build associations. They look for patterns, and they recognize routines. Routines are important to dogs, and in almost any environment, good routines will help them thrive. Good routines will also save you time, and they prevent aggravation, because a little extra time spent up front establishing a routine prevents a lot of wasted time later on needed to address issues. Poor routines, on the other hand, only reinforce behaviors and associations that you don't want. So how do you know when your dog's behavior reflects a routine, either his or your own? A good hint is when you describe him as always doing something, for better or worse, in a particular way. For instance, your dog always barks when the UPS truck approaches your house. You then get excited and tell him to shut up. He barks louder, quieting only when the truck leaves. At that point, you walk away. Your largest dog always whines when you reach for your car keys. He then paces back and forth in anticipation of you leaving. He knocks your smaller dogs out of his way, upsetting them, and their irritable responses further feed his anxiety. Your dog always jumps against your legs when you approach your door. You quickly open the door since you don't want your legs to be gouged by his nails. The dog gets to go outside. Or, on a more positive note, your dogs always line up quietly, without crowding, when it's time to come inside. When you're ready to have them pass, you tell them, "Okay," softly as you step aside. They then pass by your legs without pushing you over, before heading toward individual dog beds to wait for their dinner. In 3 of these 4 situations, the dog follows a pattern that has gotten him what he wants. The UPS truck, which he sees as something that gets you upset, drives away. The door gets opened so he can go outside. Or he joins the other dogs to come inside for dinner in a manner that pleases you. In one case, he reverts to a behavior, pacing, because he has never been shown and rewarded for a better one. Which situation reflects a pattern that you want to see repeated? In which situations might smarter routines make everyone happier? The good news is, recognizing the importance of turning bad routines into good ones is the first step toward making your routines a lot better. And it's remarkable how quickly problems disappear when new routines allow dogs to shine. The 5th key question is your dog simply looking for an outlet for his pent-up energy? Dogs that have energy to burn and no jobs to do often create their own jobs, and they tend to pick jobs that we wouldn't choose. Tired dogs don't look for trash to sort. They don't tease other dogs, and they don't chew up their dog beds. Rather, they are happy to curl up in companionship, having had their need for things to do satisfied. Here it pays to mention the running around the backyard is exercise myth. A dog running loose around a backyard is probably recharging his batteries as much as he's draining them. Random movement around a yard doesn't make a dog focus and think the way a well-paced walk or run at your side does. And without a certain level of concentration on his part, his workout isn't nearly the same. Unfocused walking does not equate to exercise. It also doesn't satisfy your dog's need to feel connected with you, and it doesn't allow him to show you what he's capable of. Next, sometimes the answer to the question, "Why does my dog do that?" lies in the fact that he is a dog. Given mud puddles to run through, or crotches to sniff, or squirrels to chase, dogs are gonna delight in doing it. Dogs, by their nature, don't set out to create issues. Yes, they are opportunists, and they love to solve puzzles in order to get what they want, especially when a reward is in sight or sniff. But they don't seek out, nor do they nourish, drama. Shown a clear path to happiness or a clear path to peace, dogs will usually take it. That brings me to the last question. Might you be setting your dogs up for failure without knowing it? Since there are lots of ways to do this unknowingly, chances are the answer to this question is, yeah, quite possibly. And in this, you have lots of company. Why? Mostly because we're human. We relate to things in also human ways that reflect our culture and our social cues. Unfortunately, canine culture and canine social cues are often 180 degrees different from ours, and what results is a culture clash, one that sets many dogs up for failure. Since most of the things that we do in this vein aren't hard to do differently once we know what to do instead, I've put together another helpful video on the topic. It's called 12 Common Mistakes People Make with Their Dogs and How Easy It Is to Avoid Them. When you watch it and put certain practices into play, you'll be amazed at how quickly and positively your dogs respond. Nothing like answering one question with a bunch of other ones, right? Still, asking yourself these 7 questions is a good first step toward getting the answers and the new skills you seek. I hope I've gotten you interested in learning more about your dogs. If so, check out the other videos that I mentioned and tell your friends, family, and coworkers about them too. You can find them on Give Smiles' YouTube page. Oh, and definitely check out this book from our shelter. It was written to help dog lovers really know their dogs. The better to prevent issues from occurring, and the better to address them when they come up. You can read its first 2 chapters, table of contents, and excerpts from all 32 chapters at www.givesmiles.us.